Theoretical.
Theoretical?
Set
Right.
vocabulary.
E-O-R-E-I-C-A-L.
You looking right at it, son.
Exactly. How do you not know how to spell it if it's right there?
I said it's the type of word where you blink and you forget how to spell it.
You blink and you forget how to
My
spell
bad,
it?
my bad. E-H.
Okay.
Trying to correct me.
So, under set vocabulary, if you open this up,
Oh, we cut this lap.
you can. If you don't want to, you do not have to. It's the hardest time.
All
right.
All my flaps.
So, a set is a collection of distinct objects. So, something like the numbers on the side of a die.
Oh, these already had the notes.
Okay. Yeah, this one, just this top one. Everything else we've got to fill in.
Oh.
So, a set is a collection of distinct objects. Each object in the set is called an element. So, they gave you an example. Set A is the even numbers that are less than 10. Well, my even numbers are 2, 4, 6, and 8.
They go by 2.
Okay, so that is your set, 2, 4, 6, and 8. That fulfills the even numbers less than 10. Each one of those is considered an element. 2 is an element. 4 is an element. 6 is an element. Okay, a set with no elements is considered an empty set. Okay, you'll either see it with those fancy brackets with nothing in it, or they're going to give you a circle with a line through it, and that tells you you have an empty set. Could you have waited until after I was done with notes?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Nah, edit that out, man.
And he smelled.
Must have been purpose.
And he didn't get the note.
You just not getting that.
Oh my Jesus.
Fire him up.
Man, I get myself in for you.
Right. How did CJ get his life together today before you did? Okay. A set that contains every element that is there is considered the universal set. Okay. And that's denoted by U. Stands for universal.
Universal.
Okay. So these are just some of the vocabulary terms you may see in this section. The first thing we need to talk about is on the right-hand side then. Theoretical probability.
Uh-oh.
So, before we get into what this means, because most of you know what this means, you just don't know how to say it.
Or probability. Probability.
Theoretical.
Okay.
Theoretical probability.
So, if I asked you for the probability of,
Could you break that word down?
Probability.
Is it 3 syllables or like more?
Five.
I say ability as in one ability.
I'm sorry. What's the probability of rolling a 6 on a die? What would you tell me?
1 out of 6. 1 out of 6.
1 out of 6.
Oh, I remember doing that.
That's what we're getting ready to do.
Like this was
Okay.
I'm a skill fail.
Okay? This is what we're getting
You
ready
should
to
have kept
do.
going because I think we can do proportion.
First off, we're not doing proportions. We already did proportions.
Yeah.
Okay? Where did you get the number 6 from?
The highest number on the cube.
How many sides on the dice are?
How many sides you have on the die. So the bottom number when we do probability, this is the total
Everybody get ready to rock.
available.
Total available.
Okay? So you have 6 numbers on a die.
Good.
So your bottom number 6. If I asked you for cards in a deck, what would my bottom number be?
52.
52.
Dang.
Nice.
52.
Oh, don't worry.
Oh,
Because tomorrow I literally have printed out a deck of cards and we are going to talk about a deck of cards.
Can we play poker?
Because most of you
Boy.
cannot
Boy,
by
we're
any
in school. You're trying to get
means
us in trouble.
do anything with the deck of cards because you don't remember how many suits are in a
I
deck,
wish I want to play
how
Tom.
many colors are in.
Or
We will cover all of them.
or do I?
I promise you.
You want to play 52 pickup, Miss Smith?
Bro, no. Bro, this is a goldfish.
Okay. I need you all to, I don't know today. What is with this? You get a day off and you come back and we can't focus, we can't do anything. What is going on?
You go ahead. You go ahead.
Oh, shoot.
It's not okay. Stop. Because you're going to be confused the rest of the unit. This is the last unit we have to cover. And this is a big part of your exam. So I need you to stop and focus. I realize we had yesterday off. Shake it off. I don't know what you got to do. Okay. Shake it off and get together. So, total available. Where did you get the number 1 from?
Because it's only one.
There's only 1 6.
1 6.
So, this is the number of items you're looking for. Okay. So, your total sample space goes in the bottom, what you have available to pick from. And then the number that goes on top is what you're actually trying to pick. We're trying to pick a 6, and there's only 1 of them available. We good? Okay. We good? Anybody still need this?
What's the number?
My phone is hot.
Number of items? We good? Anybody still need this up?
I'm glad it's not an iPhone.
Nah, go ahead.
Okay, so we're going to jump down here and talk about subsets and complement of a set. So if you open up, let's talk about a complement first. What does the word complement mean to you?
So if you ever say something nice to somebody, that's in life.
Something that
That's
accents.
Okay. Can we talk more mathematical about
I don't know what it
Something
means.
that accents and other things.
I wouldn't necessarily say accent.
Can I look it up?
Can you look it up?
Go ahead for your phone gets it, boy. I wouldn't risk that.
Okay. What if I give you this example? See if you can come up with it yourself. So, we'll go back to the example you were given. 2, 4, 6, and 8.
And 10.
Okay. Your complement would be like 1, 3, 5, 7.
Or the left out numbers.
Okay. Good. The numbers that what?
Go in between.
That go in between or don't belong. Okay. Your complement is everything that's not in the set.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And this is denoted as A raised to the C. Okay. So when they ask you for A raised to the C, they're looking for the complement of set A. Okay. If they're looking for the complement of set B, it would be B raised to the C. And this is all items not in the set. Okay. If you notice, every last one of those numbers was not in the set. Okay. Let's go over to subset of a set.
Oh my God.
Okay. Subset of a set. So again, let me give you an example and see if you can figure it out for yourself.
For yourself. It looks
So a subset would be like 2 and 6. A subset of this set would be something like 2 and 6.
you
Or
subbed them 2 numbers out.
4 and 6. Or 4, 6, and 8. These are all subsets of that set.
You sub numbers out.
Equivalent would be exactly equal.
0.
So what do I have there when I pull out just 2 and 6? Or just 4 and 6? Or just 4, 6, and 8?
Subsets.
They're all even numbers to begin with. What'd you say, CJ?
Subsets.
That's what we're trying to figure out. What does that word subset mean?
Are they all elements?
Huh?
Are they all elements?
They are all elements still.
I was being smart when I said
It's
something.
not quite where I'm going
So
with
I was
this.
right. At least I wasn't wrong. Parts, little parts. Who else?
Little what?
Little parts.
Little parts. A subset is just a section of your set. Okay? It's just a piece of your set. Okay? So all elements in set A that's also in set B.
What does U stand for in this stuff?
That's your universal set. That's everything.
Okay, I'm done with that.
I just messed you up.
There's nobody thinking about no universe.
I want to figure out who made math.
If you don't know
Albert
about math by
Einstein.
now,
Who made math?
Albert.
come on, man.
Okay. They're not going to ask you for the subset of the set. They're going to use the symbol. Okay? It's a sideways U that represents the subset of the set.
So it's a sideways universe? So
It's a sideways universe? Yes, I guess you could call it that.
I did math good. Like I'll do it.
Come on, somebody tell this man something. Come on, Marlon, preach. Preach.
Marlon preaches every day. Open up your notebook. She gave you the notes. Every day. You do, because every time they ask a question, you're like, open up your notebook. She told you this. Okay? The last two things we need to talk about are at the bottom, and then we're going to do some examples. Unions and intersections of sets. Okay?
You said you stand for universal. Now I see unions now, which is
It's a family reunion.
you, so
Yes. Don't be afraid to ask your question.
Oh,
Y'all just embarrass her.
she's so cute.
She got
Christian, you got a whole girl right in front of you. Like, say she cute.
She don't care. She know you're early, my son.
What?
Ooh.
Wait,
Yeah,
I'm
oh.
not even trying to finish.
All right, now you better eat out, bro.
Okay.
Eat out, bro.
He said you're his one and only.
Okay.
She looked up like
So let's look at intersection first on the left. Take a look at what's shaded in. What does the intersection mean?
Where they meet.
What they share in common. Good. Intersection is what the group share in common.
Man, I was gonna say you was, because I was thinking the same thing.
What the sets share in common. Okay, the symbol that they use here is an upside down U.
That's an in there.
Okay. That stands for your intersection. What do they share in common?
A and B. This came out just
Pen's dying on you.
nah.
Okay. The last thing we need to talk about, and then we're going to do some examples where we pull all this information together. The union of sets. Take a look at your picture.
It's the holy one.
It's what?
The holy one.
The holy one. The Holy Grail.
Yeah,
It's the Holy Grail.
Holy matrimony.
Okay? It's everything. It's everything that's in set A and in set B. So this is every element.
It's the chosen one.
It's the chosen one.
It was supposed to be Anakin Skywalker. But it was his nature.
And I'm big. It's weird, bro.
Okay. And they do use a U to represent union here.
How did you just say those two last universe? She is lost in space. I'll go get Paw Patrol.
Paw Patrol.
You're gonna go get Paw Patrol.
She's stuck in space. Why not?
I'm gonna get the Wonder Fest.
All right. Let's see if we can do some examples and catch some of you where you're confused. So, here we go. So we're going to have to actually fill out the Venn diagram. What goes where, and then we're going to find the probability.
Which one is this?
Okay, it's on the left-hand side of the first example. Or the right-hand side of the first example.
Second.
You have a set of 10 cards that are numbered 1 through 10. You choose a card at random. Event A is choosing a number that's less than 8. Event B is choosing an even number. Draw a Venn diagram and calculate each of the following probabilities.
It doesn't matter what.
Okay, so the easiest way I can tell you to do this, write out your numbers from 1 to 10, right here. Write them all out.
1 through 30.
Okay, write them all out. Okay, one of these circles have to represent A, the other one needs to represent B. So we'll make the left A and the right B. And again, what did you tell me that middle space is?
Similarity.
Both.
What they share in common, okay? That's your similarity space. So if event A is choosing a number that's less than 8 and event B is choosing an even number, what would go in the middle?
2, 4, 6.
2, 4, 6. Okay. Even numbers that are less than 8 would be your middle. So 2, 4, and 6.
And then 1 through 7 would be an A. And again, 2, 4, 6 would be an B.
So we've pulled 2, 4, and 6. It can only go in one section of your Venn diagram. So if 2, 4, and 6 go in the middle because it's what they share in common, it can't go anywhere else. We've put them there. Okay. CJ, you just told me what is now just going to go in A.
1 through 5. So 1 through 7.
Okay. 1 through 7 without
Evens.
the evens. Okay. So 1, 3, 5, and 7 are the numbers that are less than 8 that's left over. 1, 3, 5, and 7.
So what's going to go in B?
Okay. Now be careful. B is just even numbers.
Oh, so
What even numbers do I have left? There you go. 8 and 10 are left. Okay.
Not actually even.
Stop stealing the
9
flow.
on the outside of it.
Because you can split it between 2 people.
Doesn't make it an
So
even
that
number.
means 9 going to be outside of
Okay.
it?
So that means 9 goes on the outside. 9 doesn't fit in either one of the categories.
Dang it.
Okay. It's all alone.
Turn 6 upside down. It's a patron.
Okay. Number 1 is asking, what is the probability of event A? How many numbers fall into event A?
4.
4 out of 10.
No.
4 out of
What
8.
am I
Seven,
missing?
seven,
7.
Oh.
Don't forget, this middle part, even though it's part of B as well, it's all in A. Everything that is in A. So this is 7 out of 10. I have 10 cards. Even though 9's on the outside, I still have 10 cards available. So my bottom number is still a 10. What is the probability of event B, Joseph? 5 out of 10. Again, 2, 4, and 6 fall in B and A, but it's still part of B. So the probability of B is 5 out of 10. Okay, this is where you have to remember the vocabulary we just talked about. The probability of A intersect B. That upside down U means intersect, which we said was what?
The 3 in the middle.
The 3 in the middle, what they share in common.
So it's 3 out of 10.
Okay, so it's a 3 out of 10.
Oh, so if it has the upside down U, it's just the middle one.
Yes, it's just the middle section. Okay, the probability of A union B.
Every single one, right?
Everything that's in both sections.
9.
So that's 9 out of 10. Which one's excluded?
9.
The number 9. Okay. and 5. The probability of A complements
1 out of 10.
B.
1 out of 10.
No.
Uh-oh. What is it?
The complement of A. The complement is everything that does not belong in A.
2. Nothing.
Three out of
No, it's
What was it?
3 out of 10.
Why is it 3?
Because B has 2 and the outlier is
Don't forget that outlier. Most of you look at it and you're like, oh, 8 and 10. 8 and 10 don't go in there. Don't forget about 9.
That's what I said 1. Because
9 is that outlier. If it would have said the complement of A union B, then yes, it would have just been 1 out of 10. But it's only looking for the ones that don't belong in A, which are 8, 10, and 9. So this is 3 out of 10. Take a look at this too.
I did this entire note.
The probability of A happening and the probability of A not happening. What would happen if I added 7 tenths and 3 tenths together?
10 full.
You get 10 out of 10. 1 whole. The complement of something should always, when you add it to the actual probability of the event happening, should always equal 1. Okay, so you can keep that in mind as well. You could have just went back and looked and said, okay, I need to add 3 to 7 to make it 3 out of 10. Okay. Questions? Okay, let's try the last one here.
Everybody write your numbers down.
Okay, we've got an 8-sided number cube. So again, the easiest way I found to do a Venn diagram is to write them all down first. And again, we're going to put A on the left, B on the right.
He's at home sick.
Oh, you hurling up the phone.
Now he's in
Just the phone curve.
Yeah, we all missed it.
But it's English thing. Who far out?
The ink to your pen stinks.
To Sienna's pens.
Okay, so event A is rolling an odd number. Event B is rolling a factor of 6. Uh-oh. What are my factors of 6?
3 and 6.
3 and 6.
I was doing A. I was doing A. I was doing
3,
A.
6, and 2.
Missing 1.
Wait,
You
1,
said 1,
3.
3, and 6. What's he missing?
Oh, 5.
No, 2.
Why is it 2?
What?
2, 4, 6.
No, I'm doing all the odd numbers. What you mean I missed 1?
Guess what?
Your factors of
1
6.
and 2.
I was doing the odds.
That's not what I was asking.
She said, what's the factor of 6 to make
What are the factors
2,
of
4,
6?
6. Wait, 1, 2.
1 times
6.
1 times 6.
1 times 6.
and
2 times 3.
2 times 3.
3 times.
So 1, 6, 2, and
Right,
3.
that's
Remember
right.
back in quadratics where we had to factor and we had to pull apart. What times what gives me 9? And you had to give me 1 times 9 and 3 times 3. That's what it's asking for with the factors. We don't do one unit without bleeding it into the next. Okay. So, what do the two share in common? Event A is rolling an odd number. Event B is rolling a factor of 6. Yes, what do you think?
No, he has the zone.
He got this.
What'd you say?
Okay, what do the two share in common? What goes in the middle? Event A is odd numbers, and event B is factors of 6, which we 3, and what else? 1. Perfect. 1 and 3. 1 and 3 are odd and also factors of 6. Okay. With that being said, Christian, what else goes into event A?
2.
What is event A?
Can I go ahead and get out the competition?
Odd.
5 and 7.
Event A is rolling an odd number. So what else goes into A?
Odd.
5
7.
and 7.
Can I take out the competition?
And then 8 is the outlier.
Well, never mind.
Okay. So what goes into event B?
4, 6.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
2, 4, 6.
No.
No,
Stop. Stop.
Oh.
Stop shouting
Cause you're gonna
and
confuse
listen to
you.
what I'm saying. What does event B say?
Rolling a factor of 6.
Rolling a factor of 6. What is left of my factors of 6?
1. What's next to
1 we've already put up. 2 and 6. So 2 and 6 go into B.
So 8.
So where does 4 and 8 go that are left over?
Complementary.
Those are the ones on the outside. Okay, you cannot just assume because they're left over that they get shoved into event B. Don't forget there's that outside space of the numbers that do not belong anywhere. Okay. Markel, what's the probability of event A? 4 out of 8, fantastic. The numbers that belong in set A are 5, 7, 1, and 3. So there's 4 numbers and there's a total of 8. What's the probability of event B, Elijah? What's the probability of event B? How many numbers belong in set B out of a total of how many?
4.
4. Good. Out of a total of how many numbers did we have?
8.
Is your name Elijah?
Nah.
Nah. Not when I'm not calling on you, you ain't getting on.
That's not fair.
Probability of A intersects B.
2 out of 8.
2 out of 8. Good. 1 and 3 is my intersection. The probability of A union B.
6 out of 8.
6 out of 8.
Good job, y'all.
And what about the complement of A? 4 out of 8. Fantastic.
4 out of 8.
What if I tell you that each and every last one of those are wrong?
Dude,
I will walk out right
You can tell me
now.
why.
see, this
You
is why I
just
should have
said-
listened to y'all.
They're not necessarily wrong per se. They're not completely correct.
You just messed this up and no, I got
Think about it. Look at all of your numbers. Look at all of your fractions. 4 out of 8. What? We've got to reduce them.
Oh,
We need to reduce them. So 4 out of 8 is actually what?
1.5.
1/2. So these are all 1/2. What is 2 out of 8?
1/4.
1/4. What about 6 out of 8?
3/4.
3/4. Good. And we already discussed that 4 out of 8 was 1/2.
Wow.
So it's not that you were wrong. You needed to go that extra step. Because more than likely on your test, they're going to give it to you in a reduced form. So you're going to get 4 out of 8. You're going to look at your answer choices and go, what the heck?
What did I do?
Hey, what did I do wrong? It's not that you did anything wrong. You didn't take that extra step to reduce. Okay. Questions? Please clue this in on page 144. And that other paper, I need you to cut in half.
Why we cutting paper in half?
Hurry up real fast while we're gluing this in.
Which
I'm gonna
other
say,
paper?
I'm really supposed to be over because I do got to go pee pee.
Remember that. Especially when I got some eye. Because you chose not to.
Huh? What? I was just playing.
I
love my skills.
I had some skills.
They said cut these 2 peppers in half, right?
Yeah.
They Smith thing 10.
I was waiting for it.
You said cut this in half, right?
Yes, cut it in half. Because it's going to glue in on 145 and 146.
I didn't have a reason for it either.
Sit up. Got your big dick.
Whoa.
You gotta smell your face.
Okay. We're actually going to start with this one. Okay. Since it's the practice that we've been doing, we're actually going to start with this one.
I'm gonna sit in the back. Okay. Yeah.
What page is this?
We're going to cut it in half, and it goes on 145 and 146. Shanti, did that make a little more sense on the examples?
No, she's still confused. You can tell it in her voice.
She said,
Yeah.
So good.
Bruh. My bad. What?
All right.
Go ahead, man.
Use the Venn diagram. So this time it gave you the Venn diagram with all of the numbers filled in. We don't have to do it. Okay. A. What are the numbers? Okay. What's the probability of set A? Three out of. Good. Oh, I'm sorry. Wait. It wants us to list the elements in each set. It doesn't want the probability. So, what belongs in set A? 6, 4, and 5. Okay. Be careful. This one asks you to just list the elements that belong in the set. They don't want the probability.
I was just over
Okay. Okay. B. They want the complement of B. What is the complement of B?
6, 2, 3, and 7.
6, 2, 3, and 7.
Where you said 6 at?
Where is your
6 is in set A, and 2, 3, and 7 don't belong in either.
When they say
Oh,
a complement,
looking on the
when they say a
outside.
complement of a thing, they just mean what's not in that.
Right, what's not in it. Okay.
Well,
C says A union B.
I was
6,
smart.
4, 5, 1, 8, 9.
6, 4, 5, 1, 8, 9.
The whole Marvel universe.
The whole Marvel universe.
That's too big.
Split in half.
Okay. A intersection B.
4, 5.
4 and 5.
You going too fast.
Real easy.
Let's see what you do with this last one.
This number 45.
The complement of A union B.
2, 3, 7.
2, 3, 7.
Awesome.
Fantastic.
I knew it, bro.
Okay.
Okay.
Heard your little voice.
See, she thinks she doesn't know what she's
See,
doing.
this
She
side
really
got
knows
a
what
lot.
she's doing.
That side over there.
She's just a little confused.
Davion.
This side lit. We the lit party. We is the eye.
Maybe Avion.
We is the lit eye.
Davion.
Marlon should come join
Okay.
the island.
So,
Yeah, we'll float in the rice.
in this one, they give you set A listed out. They give you set B listed out. They don't do it for C and D though. So let's
Whoa.
make the list for C and D first.
Whoa.
The set of natural numbers that are less than 10.
No, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9.
So how would we write it? I'm dead. I got caught. Oh, oh shoot. I'm stupid.
Okay. The set of even whole numbers between 2 and 12 inclusive. Okay. The word inclusive means that 2 and 12 are part of the set. Okay. So 2 is my beginning number of my set. What else belongs in it?
Hold on, let me do it. 2, 4, 6, 8.
Shut up.
Oh God.
Be nice.
12.
10 and 12. Good.
You just come to black number.
If they would not have put in the word inclusive in there, it would have just been 4, 6, 8, and 10. Okay. That inclusive brought 2 and 12 into the mix.
If I know what it is, I like to answer myself.
Okay. So 1 says Find A union B. This is all of the numbers that are in set B as well as in set A. So what's my smallest number that belongs here? 1. Is 2 included? Yes. And 3. And 4. Now look, they share 4 in common. We don't have to write it twice though. Okay? Do we also include 5? Yes. Okay. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12,
30.
She be snapping when she talk. That's funny.
14, 16,
I don't know. We still 13.
18, and 20. Okay. Yes, you have to include every number that's in set A and the numbers in set B because it's a union.
Oh, yeah.
And A is the even numbers from 2 to 20. That should not be 116. It should be 16. Okay, Trevor?
I didn't know. I thought it
Miss
was-
Lynn. Okay.
14, 16.
Yeah, 18 and 20 are also on there.
CJ, hurry up and shit down.
Oops. I accidentally put 13, but 16.
Okay. Number 2 says find A intersection B. What did the intersection mean?
Besides
What they shared in common. What numbers do the group share in common?
4,
4, 6. Anything else?
9.
No, that's it. This is a pretty easy one. Just 4 and 6 fit into that group. They only share 4 and 6 in common.
Yeah, like Rudolph the Red Nose, right?
What about C union D?
CD.
Okay, it's not what they share though. It's union. It's everything in both sets.
So
we start with 1.
2,
What else? 2,
3,
3,
4, 5,
Y'all better not start listening all the way back to 20 now. I'm not doing it.
7,
I will quit.
8, 9.
10.
Bro, y'all think I'm playing a game.
11 is not in it.
Oh, my fault.
Man.
Oh my God.
What else needs to go in there?
No.
12.
12, 14, 16, 18, and 20.
Okay. Set C has all of the numbers 1 through 9. And the only extra ones that set D has is 10 and 12.
I ran out of space.
Find D union. I'm sorry, intersection C. Find D intersection C. What is D intersection C?
Pushing your phone off.
I would say yes.
2, 4, 6, and 8.
I'm on my mind.
2, 4, 6,
Okay. We're gonna skip the bottom 2.
Why?
We're only doing basics. We're only doing basics.
Oh, that do look like a little
Yeah, it gets a little bit more.
Marla, fix your
Complicated.
voice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pull that in on page 145 or one. We on 145 already?
Yes, man.
145.
Doesn't matter what.
Hey, bring that, you know that game of Family Guy, bro?
If you move, no.
What you have me down here, bro?
Listen, I'm not looking at a great social.
Right, so you need to put hands on females.
Stop.
Charles.
Watch what you say. Watch what you
Say
say.
black.
What I say?
So you don't know you.
What happened? What I do? Huh?
You're gonna get key monitored.
What is it?
Oh, you wanna fight?
All I know is I seen this game and I watched this guy
Oh,
play
you saw
Stephen Curry and I was like, I'm getting some threes on
Well,
me.
Now I have to really drop it. If I don't touch you more than one time, you think I won't really?
I know, really.
But I remember when
I
it
feel
was
like
so
Peter was watching Jaws, bro, and the shark was.
I feel like I'm gonna get hit.
No.
Oh, yeah.
he said, hey, you want to eat?
No,
trying to stop when you get scared. Feel like I'm trying to really fight.
These are ooh, I see right up.
Maybe one day, maybe one day.
They did about
No, I got 4 people who like me in the school, and 3 of them have boyfriends.
They're like, you know how like your boyfriend. He was
tennis
slow.
stock game. You already know.
He was like,
I don't fight.
yeah.
What's that?
Yeah, he said he
Oh
was
my
going
God,
outside
what's
today.
that noise? I'm talking that for the rest of the day,
Going out of the way.
bro. Pull up in somewhere. I say, Elijah.
I mean,
Hey.
So what you call it on there?
it's like an old room.
Oh, don't do that. That can get you sick. Let me check my phone, see if I got a Skype message. I got Facebook. I'm good.
I ain't said nothing.
I think it's gonna hurry up. I gotta go pee. In class of 50 students, 8 take course, 26 takes band, and 2 of them take course and band. Wow.
PG-13.
PG-13, one of the best small forwards in the league. I said one of the best. One of the best. It's y'all. Everybody touching the group. Like me.
Yeah.
They come in that paint. Are you hearing? The he strikes. He's very slow. I remember in the All-Star game, he made Curry duck. It was cool. It was cool.
I did.
It was for show, bro.
It was for show. He like, oh, twice. That's why he did that. He took over twice, see? So y'all, and they both like, so bad.
He doesn't want to do that. Curry, I love guy.
I know, I seen that. Like he lost the ball.
Okay. We need to talk about these last 4 and we're finished with notes.
All right.
Okay. So what we need to do here is we need to create Venn diagrams from the word problems. Okay. We need to create Venn diagrams from the word problems. In a class of 50 students, we have 18 that take chorus, 26 take band, and 2 take both chorus and band. How many students in the class are not enrolled in either chorus or band? So,
Wait, no, 50.
how many different things are we talking about?
We're talking about math.
Language,
What?
We're talking about 2 different things.
2 different things. We're talking about chorus and band. So, you need to create 2 circles. One for chorus and one for band.
I don't know how big the circle's gotta be, so.
We're just putting just one random number in it, like a total of what you go in it. So, it says we have 18 that take chorus, 26 take band, and 2 take both. I would fill in your intersection first. What goes in the middle? 2. I've got 2 people that take both chorus and band. Okay. If I have 18 people that take chorus and 2 take both, that means I have 16 for my outer circle. Okay. So be careful with that.
Wait, hold up. Say that again. You said that you have how much?
I have 18 total.
Uh-huh.
You've got to take away 2.
Oh, I thought you
So that only puts me 16 on the outside. Because then that still gives me a total of 18 for chorus.
I thought you had. Or is that only when you have one?
Yes.
Because when you did the example up there on the board, you like,
Yeah,
no, never mind. It was the
Just
outside.
forget about it.
Good?
Just forget about it.
Okay, so again, if I have 2 in the middle that take both chorus and band, and I have a total of 26 that take band, That leaves me with 24 that take just band.
Oh yeah, that Marshawn Lynch right there.
Okay, that is still a total of 26 band students. Okay. Their question though is how many students are not enrolled in either?
If you add them all up, like.
Okay, if I add them all up, I get what? If I add all of these up, I get what?
42.
Plus 2 plus 24.
That
That means I have 42 students that are in chorus or band. So how many are not?
8.
Why?
Because you add them up and then.
You have a total of 50. Okay. So we have 8 that are not enrolled in either.
I'm a human calculator. I said 42.
8 that are not enrolled in either. Okay, we've got a school with 320 students. 85 are in the band, 200 are on a sports team, and 60 participate in both. How many students are involved in either band or sports? So again, what type? 2 things. We need a 2-thing Venn diagram. Okay, so we've got band and we've got sports this time.
What? We gotta do the intersection.
Intersection first. So what goes there?
60.
60. So that means how many students are just in band? 25.
That's a 25.
How many just play sports? Okay. Now read the question. How many students are involved in either sports or band?
200. Oh, hold on.
Did you add all of them?
You tell me. What's the question asking?
What's it on?
Are involved in either band or sport?
225.
Yes. You would literally just add them up. You would have the people that just do band, the people that do both, and the people that just do sports. So 25 and 60 and 140 give me 225 students.
That's all we had to do for this one?
Okay. Yeah, that's all they wanted. That's all they asked for. Okay. Number 3. We're looking at a veterinarian that surveys 26 of his patrons. He discovers that 14 people have dogs, 10 have cats, and 5 have fish. 4 have dogs and cats, 3 have dogs and fish, 1 has a cat and a fish.
I'm assuming cats.
How many things are we talking about this time?
3
different things. So I need 3 separate circles.
3? What's going on here?
Okay.
They triple in their religion and stuff. Well, that's not cool.
Okay. So we're talking dogs, cats,
And fishy.
and fishies.
10 were girls.
Okay. Again, you want to go with the intersection ones first. So the ones in the middle, and then we'll fan our way out. So what's the first number you want to put, and where would you like to put it?
4 have dogs and cats.
4 in the middle of dogs and cats. Just dogs and cats. So don't go to that centerpiece. It only goes here. What else?
3 have dogs and fish.
3 have dogs and fish. So 3 goes here.
And 1 has cat and fish.
1 has cat and fish.
They weird cat.
What else do we know with the intersections?
If no one had, wait.
It says if no one has all 3 kinds of pets. So that's a 0 for this very centerpiece. None of them have all 3. Okay.
I did before.
Now, we're not just dealing with one circle next to the other. I'm dealing with two. So this entire circle is dogs. There should be a total of 14 there.
Yeah.
I've already used 4 and 3, so I've used how many? 7. So if there's a total of 14, this is a 7.
Y'all too slow for me.
Okay. Does everybody understand where 7 came from?
Yeah,
Yes, because you
Okay.
So 5 going.
My cats. I've got 4 and 1 here, which is already 5, and I have a total of 10. So this has to be 5. How many just have a fish?
1.
Just 1. I have a total of 5, and 3 and 1 have already been used. So we've already used 4, which means there's only 1 with just fish. So how many patrons have none of these pets at all?
0. Wait, oh no.
1, bro.
Okay, so in order to find that, we need, just like we did at the top one, we had to find out how many have the animals and then figure out how many do
2.
not. So
2 or 3.
we've got 7 that have just dogs, plus 4 that have dogs and cats, plus 5 that just have cats, 3 that have dogs and fish, 1 that has a cat and a fish, and 1 that just has a fish. You said that gives me 21? So 21 have all of these pets, which means we have 5 that have none.
They must be lonely, desperate housewives. That's probably one.
Okay, 5 that have none.
Oh, I thought that said, you know what? It looked like.
All right, last one.
You trip.
A guidance counselor is planning to schedule 30 students. 16 say that they want to take French, 16 want to take Spanish, and 11 want to take Latin. 5 say they want to take both French and Latin, and of these, 3 wanted to take Spanish as well. 5 want only Latin, and 8 want only Spanish. How many students want French only? So what kind of diagram do I need? 3 circles.
But what's up with these 3, bro? Y'all know what 3
Okay, we're going to have to take these one piece at a time. That's a lot of information that they just threw at us.
Yeah, they really want
Come on, Sienna. Why your parent acting up?
So, what do we know right now that we don't have to figure out that we can just put in? You want what? 8 want only Spanish. 8 want only Spanish. So let's do French, Spanish, and Latin. So 8 goes here. Only Spanish. 5 want only what?
5 want only Latin.
5 want only Latin. So 5 goes here.
$17. I just said a random number.
16 French.
5 say they want French.
How do you know what goes into French if you don't know what goes into the intersections of French yet? Can't just pull
Oh,
that.
you got 8 to 5.
Okay, hold up. It says 5 say they want to take both French and Latin. So technically we should have put a 5 right here, but don't do that yet. It says of these, 3 wanted to take Spanish as well. So 5 want to take French and Latin, and of those 5, 3 of them also want Spanish.
So you put 3 to them.
So 3 goes in the middle. 3 goes in the middle. They want French, Latin, and Spanish. Okay. 5 want French and Latin, but 3 of them wanted Spanish. So what technically goes? All right, so we took care of this line. Notice I cross them out as I take care of them. Makes it easier sometimes. Okay, so it says 16 want French, 16 want Spanish, and 11 want Latin. So What circle has everything filled in but one section?
I was in
The
RT.
Spanish and Latin.
Spanish and French.
French and.
It shouldn't be this and that at all. There's only one circle here that only has one space open.
French.
My French circle has one space open.
Oh.
And no, it has two. It's got the outside and the middle part. Which one only has one space to fill in?
I said Spanish and Latin.
Latin.
Just the Latin circle.
Oh.
Yes, we're filling in the Spanish and Latin part, but that's not what I asked. Okay. So if I have 11 that want to take Latin, what goes in that extra little hole there?
3.
No. I have 11 total that want to take Latin.
1.
One.
You add them up.
You've got 5, 7, 10, which means I only have one extra. Now, Spanish only has one section left. I need 16 total in the Spanish circle.
4.
So 4 goes here. Don't forget the 3 and the 1 go with the 8, which gives you 12, which means there's 4 here. I need 16 total in the French. So I've got 4, 3, and 2. 7. Now that you've got that all filled in, how many students want French only? 7 students.
Make me some French fries.
Make you some French fries.
We done.
Okay. Yes, that is it.
Everybody in class today, y'all worked good today. Y'all all did 100. So happy to go home. I wish I was teacher so I could.